Here we go. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, and I am here to bring you a weather update for April 6th, 2024. It's a little late, but it is the day in which I woke up on April 6th, so it counts as April 6th. Okay, let's keep going. Let's start out by looking at our volcanoes, shall we? Let's see, we still got 30 active eruptions. We've got new images coming out of the one and only, the one and only active spatter cone. Does it again. Burr, burr, burr. The one and only spatter cone off the Rearcast Peninsula, as seen from the webcam from Thorbjorn, Mount Thorbjorn. The one and only. I'm sorry, I love this. The one and only active spatter cone. It's still doing its thing. It's actually popping off pretty severely. Its pussy pops severely and yours don't. That's what's happening here with the one and only. The one and only spatter cone in Reykjanes. I'm sorry, I love that they're calling it the one and only. Another significant change appeared at the eruption site. The northern cinder cone has been showing the most lava effusion. However, the larger northern crater has become the one and only protagonist of the eruption. I love how fucking dramatic geologists are about this shit. However, today, the larger northern crater has become the one and only protagonist of the eruption. In the attached timeline, and the attached time-lapse visualization, the southern edifice is no longer active or seems to have halted. Fresh and molten pyroclasts have been continuing to eject from edifices, resulting in continuous splattering that thickens the lava flow field from their vicinity rather than its length, as seen on the attached time-lapse. Now, when I click on this, it's going to send me to an ad, and then it won't really send me to the right link page. Oh, it didn't happen. Okay. They're showing something. Okay. Yeah, they're showing it becoming the one and only spatter cone. Become the one and only. Yeah. That's where it's all coming from. So basically, the update from the Rearcast Peninsula is that there is more lava flowing into the system than there is flowing out of the system. It's what's called in advanced differential equations as the leaky tank problem. It's a very simple problem if you're a student in first order differential equations class. But when you're a student of life and reality and the actual material world, there's way more variables than we can calculate. So good luck. Trying to calculate every variable in a system is like, we've only got the 3-body problem. Okay, I'm good. I'm going to stop there. I'm just saying the volcano is now officially a leaky tank problem where we have to calculate volume rushing in with volume rushing out, and the thermal conversion in the midst of it's coming in as molten magma under the ground, and it is converting into something that could erupt effusively or flow out in surface lava. And that has a very different thermal capacity. Okay, so technically the chemical structure has the same thermal capacity, but the environments that they're in, there are so many different situations that a piece of molten rock experiences when it's going from being a little bubble of magma underground to being part of the cauldron inside of the spatter cone to being something that flows out of the system. We're also seeing in the system things that are flowing out, like the exit hole, the exit door. Do you have your exit, buddy? That part of the cone is slowly, it's building up so much mass vertically that the flow out of the system is not able to flow as fast, because we talked about last night, we talked about gradients and how things flow faster when there's a higher gradient, much like how a ball rolls down a steep hill faster than it does a shallow hill. When there is less of a sharp elevation gradient for lava to flow down, it won't want to flow down as fast, and that is one of many variables in the equation that calculates how fast the lava can flow out of the spatter cone from its little leaky hole. And I've said leaky hole, tank, leaking so many times tonight that I don't want to talk about it anymore. It sounds perverse. Let's talk about, we've got pretty much everything else that's continuing to erupt. Let's go now to our next topic, which is earthquakes. So I'm going to make sure that we are on our most recent, and I was looking at our 6 and over earlier, but let's go ahead and take a look at most recent earthquakes. We had a 5.0 here in, I hate borders, but let's turn it on, technically a province in China, and that was at 10 kilometers depth. Again, what the fuck is going on 10 kilometers below the surface? I don't know. It's like they got some sort of airport down there that people are just constantly on conveyor belts in. So we also have a 5.0. We have continued aftershocks in Taiwan here after our 7.0. Just like earlier in the year, we saw a bunch of 2+ magnitude down aftershocks from the major 7 that struck in Kyrgyzstan. We are seeing continued aftershocks. Okay, and then it just wants to put me back on. Let me put back to the right dates. We are seeing continued aftershocks in the region. Look at all these fucking aftershocks in Taiwan. Remember when I said there was going to be some activity in Taiwan, and then there was? Oh man, I gotta study the Dutch Sense School of Earthquake Forecasting a little bit harder, because the first time I ever tried to use it live on stream, y'all saw it. I forecast that there was going to be something happening in Taiwan, and it did. Makes you wonder what else Michael Yurianich is right about. Uh-oh. I don't know. I feel like maybe he wouldn't like me very much. I feel like if I don't meet your idols, kids, because I don't think that Dutch Sense would even like me that much as a person. I just really respect what he does scientifically. Speaking of scientifically, we had a recent, that's a less recent, 4.3. We had 4.4s. Oh, that's not, oh, if I double click it, it'll actually let me go there. If I double right click, it'll let me go. It'll open it up in a browser. Oh my god, that is life changing. That's how he spawns them so fast. Okay, so here in Japan we had a 5.4, and that is technically Honcho, Japan, right between the main island and what's it called? The other island to the north. Let's see what else we had. Let's go to check out Hawaii having some continued tremors at multiple different depths, as you can see from my side view here. There are multiple depths of earthquakes happening in Hawaii. Also down here in the Vanuatu Islands region and Tonga and Fiji Islands regions. Let's go back to the date that I told you to do. Yep, there we go. We're seeing some recent earthquakes as well in very similar places. That would be... That's not the thing I'm looking for. Oh, I hear the noise. Where is the most recent earthquake? Oh, over here in Alaska, of all places. There was just now, as I'm talking to you, a 3.3 at 67 kilometers depth, just 3.3 kilometers west-northwest of Squintna, Alaska, really close to Anchorage. Let's go back, check out. I'm going to take the quake rings down in size. So this is the spatial distribution that we've been seeing from the quakes recently. They're just all around this big open hole bay around Anchorage. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something big in the Aleutian Islands, Anchorage, or even off the coast of British Columbia, Vancouver area in Canada soon. Seeing continued quakes down here in California. We did see one that made the news today, probably because of the awareness of earthquakes in North America due to the New Jersey quake that has happened, and I will get to the aftershocks that have come there in a second. But there have been numerous normal amount of quakes here in California, into Southern California, but all in the the smaller magnitude range. The biggest magnitudes we got was like a 3.2 here in the Bay Area, a 3.3 off, and a 4.1 both on the top and bottom area of the Juan de Fuca fracture zone. Let's go back to, oh, it wants to take me back a few days. Let's go back to recent. And we're going to do all magnitudes again. We see it spreading through West Texas, where there's a big drill point area. Actually, though, this is more in central western Oklahoma than we usually see Oklahoma earthquakes, so that 3.0 means a little bit more. 1.9, 1.7, 1.2. Actually, 1.2 is here in Charlotte region. I'm going to click on that. Jenkinsville, South Carolina. Okay, so not quite Charlotte, but pretty close. Where was this 1.7? That was in Bryson City, North Carolina. I'm going to switch it. So this one I just clicked on, the 1.7 today, was in Bryson City, North Carolina. Do you know where Bryson City is? It sits right next to Fontana Lake, just west of the eastern band of the Cherokee Indians Reservation. The entire thing should be this entire square. You see how there's this a square diamond here? This should be the territory of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians. I mean, all of it should be, but Bryson City especially is a place that we do look for when we're thinking about significations of colonialism when we talk about disturbances in the Earth sphere. I don't feel like I want to say more than that right now. I'm not going to say more than that right now. I just have things to say. There's currently 0 concurrent viewers, 0 chat rate, and 0 views. And that's how I like it. Or at least that's how I'm going to say I like it. Another 5.0 out here on the West Chilean Rise. Is that what it's called? Central East Pacific Rise. I think it's quite clear that, oh, and again, we've backed out to 7 days instead of 1. But actually, there has been an increase in activity here in South America. We're also seeing not as much from Europe as we had been seeing. We have a 5.1 down here in the South Sandwich Islands. Lots of deep earthquakes coming off of the Vanuatu Islands region and in Sumatra, Java, or actually in the central Philippines here. We've got a few here in the Kyrgyzstan region and as well as the Himalayas. Let's move on though. Let's move up through the atmosphere. We're already been talking 17 minutes, so let's keep it moving. I'm over here snacking on capers. What are you guys snacking on? Drop it in the comments. Like me a salty little snack. So take a look at the west coast of North America right now. Got a spicy little low swirling around Nebraska right now. I still call home that house in Nebraska, you know, that kind of Ethel Cain shit. Let's hear it for the sad queers out there drinking themselves to death, listening to Ethel Cain every night. I'm sure nothing bad happened to you ever in your life. You know? I'm sure you're fine. I'm sure you're fine. Speaking of Nebraska, okay. So we do have a low, stationary front and occluded front here. Splitting themselves off in the central Nebraska area. We've got a nice amount of rainfall coming into South Dakota, which they have needed because they have really missed out on their wintertime precipitation there. This band of severe storms is what earlier in the day was cause for potential tornado chases, but there were no tornadoes. It was just to my knowledge, it was just a severe thunderstorm outbreak. And this is a great example of this. You see this lima bean shape that comes out behind the comma shape of the storm. The storm is in a counterclockwise comma shape, and behind that, there's this little bean of air that is dry, hot and dry air. That is why, and with really fast winds. And that is why we are currently seeing an extreme risk, critical risk, and elevated risk throughout much of the Southwest. And these risks are of not thunderstorms or tornadoes, but of fires. It's also heavy pollinating season. This is the time when the plants get enough of a drink of water to think that they'll never be dry again, and they just release their seed out there, and it's, very flammable. Okay, sorry, I just had to make sure I was showing the right screen. There's also, we're still dealing with this lingering thunderstorm off the coast of Massachusetts, but most people are fine. We did see a good deal of flooding throughout the Ohio-West Virginia border region in the Ohio River Valley here. Also, this is the area that's about to see a lot of severe weather and flooding on the day of the total solar eclipse. Again, if I haven't told you already, do not travel for this eclipse. Do not travel for this eclipse. If you are where you are, hunker down, dude. Like, it's going to be floods, power outages, tornadoes, severe weather, people stranded in their cars just trying to sightsee and not knowing what the fuck they're doing out in the middle of Indiana, getting chased down by severe storms. These severe storms right here, this isn't even the storm system that we're going to be dealing with. This is the shape of it. But this isn't the one that we're dealing with on Monday. We've got some quite negative conditions coming to us. Let's take a look at some of our predictions for this area. I'm going to look at simulated radar. Take a look as we're marching through Sunday. Gonna be okay, it's loading. Got this system, a very classic system. Sunday, marching into, whoa. Sunday, okay. Hold on. How do I go back? Okay, let's go back to valid 4-8. Okay. 8 a.m. Cloudy all over. 11 p.m., 2 p.m. This is the path of totality, and this is also where a bunch of isolated thunderstorms are about to pop up, according to GFS. Now, if you find yourself in Wichita Falls, guys, okay, I'm not traveling for this for the reason that I feel like we are going to see. There is already existing flooding and the Ohio River at elevated flood stages right now. Don't fucking go to the Midwest in the middle of tornado season. Unless you're a storm chaser. Unless you're like fucking Reed Timmer out here with the Dominator 3000 with a car that electromagnetically bolts itself to the ground. Don't go out there. Your little Toyota Camry ain't making it. Your Lamborghini ain't making it. Your Nissan Leaf ain't making it through a severe weather storm situation. Don't be a dumb tourist caught in the line for Woodstock. Okay? Because I feel like that's the thing I'm seeing is like people getting caught up in the line for Woodstock, but they're just like, oh, nothing really cool happens in my life, so I have to go out and see it somewhere else. No, actually, cool and bad and weird stuff happens in your life all the time. You just have to look inward to be able to see it, okay? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna rant a little too much. Let's stop talking about Bryson City. Let's stop talking about the eclipse. we'll have plenty to talk about once it happens. Let's go ahead and talk about today's solar weather, shall we? No, I always confuse these two icons. Today's solar weather doesn't look like we had too many big eruptions. Yeah, no, only a few coronal mass ejections today. Let's take a look at the auroral activity. We're coming out of a pretty strong storm area. Our interplanetary magnetic field in the vertical component has been oscillating between the northern and southern orientation. We're currently in a southern. Means that we're probably going to get some good coupling. Remember how I've talked about how you don't want the interplanetary magnetic field to be in the northward orientation when it meets our Earth, because then it's just going to repel like magnets. You want it to be in the opposite orientation so it meets up and our ionosphere gets charged up by the magnetic. Anyway, if you're an aurora chaser, it's a medium good night. We are looking at very few sunspot regions right now. We've got 3628 looks okay, but not too many are looking strong. Coronal holes, though, this seems to be a dimming region that looks like it wants to form into one big blob. I will say, I am cautiously optimistic that this one big blob will become a good coronal hole, like a massive gaping coronal hole, pushing a lot of fast solar wind towards our planet as we have these bright spots rotating into Earth view. We are in extremely low X-ray flux conditions right now, and I have thought that maybe extremely low vibe solar flares could mean more earthquakes because we're on the denser sphere, but I still have to study more to think about that better. Let's take a look at just our SDO is showing. Let's just take a look at the 3 wavelength composite GIF view. Very little activity, some swirling, some curling, and we're looking at a darkening right there. Watch that get darker and darker. That is going to get darker and darker as it rotates into Earth view, and this is getting brighter and brighter. Let's go actually to look at Soho's analysis of stereo. Which one do I want to look at? Goes? It's goes, yeah. I want to look at the goes thematic map. These bright regions. Okay, these are possible filaments forming all throughout this coronal hole region that I just pointed out to you. And these are bright regions that are about to rotate into Earth view and be big flare players, I believe. But we got mostly quiet sun facing us right now. We've got prominences off to the west and bright regions off to the east. We are in our little dip down phase of this kind of, sun chronology. And speaking of chronology, let's take a look at our planetary weather. So we are in a sun day and a sun hour. Yesterday was a Saturn day, and I started it in a Mars hour. Actually, I started this on a Sunday and a Mars hour, but we're going to ignore that. We're in a Sunday and a sun hour, finally. And the sun is here just past the North Node and almost at Chiron here in Aries. And we've got Mercury retrograde in Aries headed back towards the sun. And we've also got Venus here in Aries. I love Venus in Aries. That is my jam. It's my natal placement. I love Venus in Aries, but also I'm an impulsive little bitch. So don't get used to anything that sets up in Venus and Aries. It's the cool thing. It's the now, it's the happening. It's what's going on. Having so many planets in the signs that I was born in, I feel very electrical, on fire, invigorated, sad for everyone around me who is used to me failing and flopping. But like, I do feel like I'm about to be in my come up era, and I'm a little bit afraid of what people expect or like don't expect of me. I'm just like, as a Taurus, like somebody with a Sun, Mercury in the third decan of Taurus, and Venus in Aries at like 12 degrees, and a moon at 22 degrees of Pisces, I am feeling very charged up right now. But I just don't, I'm so sorry for what that means for the rest of you guys. I'm so sorry that means that you have to experience the world that I've experienced like most of my life. So, welcome. It's here. What's it like to experience Pisces, Aries, Taurus alignment really strongly in your chart? Wow, I guess you motherfuckers are gonna have to figure out what it's like to be unreliable, but hot and cool and interesting at the same time. Sorry for you Capricorn motherfuckers out there, but we are done with Capricorn shit, okay? Capricorn, out the window. Bye-bye. I'm so done with you Capricorn motherfuckers. I am ready for a new age, an Aries new age. This is a Saturn in Pisces world-building event. We are creating the new realities that we want to exist. And by God, by Goddess, they are going to be Jupiter conjunct Uranus energies. Okay? We are expanding digitally. We are expanding sensually. We are expanding monetarily. We are branching out into all fields that benefit us materially and are healing from our cosmic wound, our Chiron. We're going back. This Mercury is taking us back and saying, no, we're not ready for Mercury and Taurus just yet. Mercury in Aries still has something to say. And what Mercury in Aries has to say is examine your fucking wounds, bitches, and make something out of them. You weren't given a wound because you're evil. You were given a wound because that's your material, useful resources in this world. Ugh. You weren't given coal in your stocking because you're bad. You were given coal in your stocking in order to burn it to fuel the engine of the train that's going to take you somewhere. I know. Crazy. Wow. Wild, right? Who would say that? Who would even say that? Who would even think that? Probably somebody whose moon is natally conjunct this moon and Neptune conjunction in Pisces. Just dropping a little too much knowledge on everybody who doesn't want it. Okay. Need more capers. Feeling that this is the deck that wants to call to me for the cosmic forecast. Oh, I never turned this light on. last night I woke up my dad upstairs because I was shuffling my cards too loud. Sorry, okay. If any of y'all want to be my dad, give me a place to live because you are want to give me your money. That's fine. Just saying. Love where I'm at. Very grateful. But also, I think maybe I'm supposed to be somewhere else next soon. So I don't know how that works. I'm trying to stay on top of trying to have a modicum of agency in my life. But all I can do is feel that changes are happening, and I'm like, I guess I'll steer this how I want to. I just know that the tides are turning, and I gotta move where my sails are. Where did my ship go? Uh-oh. If any of you guys want to subscribe to me on Slushy or be friends with me on Friendly, I'm broadening my horizons right now. You know what I mean? I am broadening my horizons digitally. And if any of you guys out there want to pay me more for my attention, my personalized attention to you, I'm opening up the pathways by which that can happen. What's the cosmic weather have? What does the cosmic weather want to say? What is the research that we're doing corresponding to the realm beyond the planets? Things that we can only know through the chaotic realm. That is one I have never drawn before. We have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So it looks to be somebody measuring out their philanthropy with a judging of scales of who deserves it and who doesn't deserve it, who deserves to get these coins and who doesn't. And the philanthropist in question seems to be judging based on some sort of legal morality. Perhaps we are looking at a settlement of some sort of a legal kind. Perhaps we are looking at a deserving, undeserving paradigm within you, within me. I know I am currently trying to overcome a paradigm of feeling like I do or don't deserve money in order to survive. Because I hate money, because I hate what people use money to do. But that's like saying you hate hammers because somebody hit you with a hammer. And then never being able to build a house because you're afraid to hammer a nail with a hammer. Let's look inside and see what we are. Yay! See what we're cutting ourselves off from because we don't think we deserve it, just because we hate people who have it. Maybe I do deserve to be a financial dominatrix. Maybe I don't just have to be mad at everybody who I've ever met who has money and doesn't do things with it that I would want to do with it. Maybe I should just, like, get that bag from them. Instead of being the pauper who is waiting. There is the pauper on the right side who is just waiting to be good enough, and the one who is just getting. There is definitely a balance. The 2 coins versus the 3 coins on the one side. There is a balance. There's an exchange. This is also when you get into Virgo shit of who's worth it and who's not. But we had it in reverse, so this is something that we have to look inward with. It's the inward dynamic of, like, do you actually think you deserve to make that shmoney? If you don't believe you deserve to get that bag, you gotta heal that before you can get that bag. Maybe you really am worth it. Who knows? Alright. I'm gonna go to liminal space deck too. Just because I'm very curious if I will draw the card that says be your own daddy or something like that. Remember, this is the one that I charge with the Ocean Jasper. Liminal space deck. For me, you, the universe, everyone listening. So first I drew close the portal, and that's one that tells you go the fuck to sleep, but also hold your boundaries. Open the portal for a reason and close it for a reason. Next one I got is reset. Got somebody with a little tab of acid on their finger and saying reset. Go back to the ego death that you have once found. Remember the place of love and self-respect that you had the first time that you had ego death, the first time you tripped. Remember how much you loved yourself and were like, oh my God, why are you doing this to yourself? Poor baby, stop hating yourself so much. You're so much more useful to the world when you stop hating yourself. Remember when you did acid or mushrooms the first time and you had that realization of like, oh my God, it hurts the world when I hate myself this much? That kind of thing. And on that line, the enemy of intuition is self-doubt. Haven't drawn this card before. Drawn the other two very many times, but the enemy of intuition is self-doubt. I'm going to read what we have for that one. Okay, where is it? Is this trying to tell me something because it's not in the card interpretation book? Oh, the enemy of intuition is self-doubt. Here we go. A cyclical, silent war with self. The game is rigged, and there are no winners. You could wait it out for a sense of certainty that may or may not come, or just go ahead and speak your truth, as if nothing pins doubt into place like silence. Fear is a liar. Life is for the living, and you are invited. God damn, that one hits real hard. Life is for the living, and you are invited. If you are alive, you are invited. You don't have to fucking deserve to be here. You don't have to fucking try to earn being alive because you are alive. God damn it. The enemy of intuition is self-doubt. Now, I know self-doubt is creeping into the back of your mind like it is mine and saying, well, maybe you need to doubt yourself in order to not hurt people. But that is a fear response coming from somebody who's trying to rationalize why somebody has hurt them in the first place, too. So, stop projecting the harm that's been done to you onto yourself as if that's gonna heal what already happened to you. Sorry, it's not gonna happen. Looking back with regret is not about to heal the things that got done to you. So, what can you do moving forward with that? Looking back with regret is not going to heal what was done to you. How can you move forward knowing that? Very interesting to pull the Six of Pentacles tonight for the first time ever, because I'm trying to manifest some material wealth through kind of calling in my social convictions. I'm trying to monetize upon social prowess. Not even prowess. I'm trying to monetize upon social stuff where people want to feel good about who they spend their time around. And I would really like to believe that I earned I would like to believe that I deserve to be the person on the other side of the scale that got weighed on as somebody who deserves it. So the first step to that is believing that I deserved it in the first place myself. So there we go. That's where we're going with that. Where did I put? I'm already put this deck to rest. Good night. I love you all very much. Thank you so much for coming to today's episode of Today's Weather Tonight. That's all the weather I've got for you today. There's about to be so much more weather in the next few days. Holy shit. There's going to be so much to talk about in the next couple days. So I am just keeping the broadcast alive, waiting, watching, hoping, praying that everyone's safe and all right. But there's about to be a lot. All right. I love you guys so very much. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.